Okay, so I used to joust on horseback with a full suit of armor and a solid pine lance and everything, and it was like a bucket list thing of mine of things to do before I die. I wanted to be a knight and joust and all that stuff. So I went out and well, back then there was the internet wasn't like what it is today, so it was tough to try and find somebody to train under and squire under and learn how to do this stuff. But I found a guy and started training under him and stuff. And there was a guy that used to work at Medieval Times that would come out for practice and stuff. And this guy, let's just say his name is Pat. Okay, let's just call him Pat. So this guy Pat is a very unique guy, and uh, anyway, so well into my training, of jousting and stuff like that, I got to know Pat a little bit and everything, and then I started to work shows like Renaissance fairs and stuff like that, and we had a show that we had to do in Oregon, and the guy that I was training under, his name is Steve, and he said that the thing is with Pat is that you don't. Pat just shows up. Pat could pull into my fucking driveway right now, and it wouldn't surprise me. He doesn't know where I live or anything, but he could show up because that's just how Pat works. He's I don't know, that he could be on Mars right now and it wouldn't fucking surprise me. So anyway, so Steve bought a plane ticket from L.A. to Portland for Pat, and this is before 9/11 and all that shit. So anyway, so he told me, he said, you need to go pick up Pat and take him to the airport, and you guys are going to fly to Portland, and I'll pick you up at the airport there. I'm going to haul the horses up there, and I'll pick you guys up at the airport. I said, well, all right, cool. I'll pick Pat up on my way to the airport. What's his address? Where does he live at? And Steve said he lives in a van. It's spray painted black, and it's on Ventura Boulevard off of Canoga, off 101. And I'm like, okay. So the day that we had to fly, I got off the freeway off Canoga, and I started driving up and down Ventura Boulevard, and I found a van, a black van, rattle can, painted, spray painted van, and I banged on it a couple times. I said, Pat, come on, it's Jay. We gotta go to the airport. We got a show. Let's go. And then I heard and a couple of moans, and the van started shaking a little bit, and then the side door opened up, slid open, and a duffel bag popped out, and there's a hole in the duffel bag, and a couple of swords were sticking out, and so Pat tossed his bag out the van, and another bag, and then he climbed out, and he looked like I just woke him up, and he was groggy and stuff, and bless you, and he said, "Hold on, Jay, hold on." And then he lifted up a compartment that was in the floor, like behind the passenger seat of the van, and there was a big bag of dog food, and he started dumping the fucking dog food inside his van. I'm thinking, what the fuck is that about? And I looked inside the van, and I heard this. I didn't think it was true, but it was true. Pat had a fucking mountain lion as a pet, and the fucking thing was living in his van with him, in that fucking van. And Pat dumped a bunch of dog food and then he put it away, and I'm looking at this mountain lion. It was licking its fucking ball sack. It was licking its balls. And then it looked up at me and hissed. And then Pat closed the door. He said, "Okay, Jay, let's go." So we flew to Portland and did a show, and fucking yeah, that was the first. That was the only time I've ever came that close to a fucking mountain lion. And it was probably like 5 feet away from me. I looked inside the fucking van and I saw a mountain lion licking his ball sack. In a van. And fucking in the valley. Pat had a fucking mountain lion. Anyway. I got a lot of Pat stories. Fucking tons of them. Tons of them. If you have a fucking Pat story, if you've ever worked with Pat, if you've ever done jousting shows with this guy Pat, hit me up in the comments, or send me a message or whatever. It's fucking it. I'm gonna make this fucking guy famous. You know what? They did a couple of reality shows on jousting and shit like that. And Pat was involved in one of them for sure. But you know what they should have done? They should have just had that fucking camera crew just follow him around. They should have had a camera crew follow Pat around. You know, because holy shit. Anyway.